Meet Lewis Hamilton, the most successful Formula One driver of all time. He gets behind the wheel of the lightning-fast Mercedes-Benz W15 F1 car every single week, just for work. But have you ever wondered how a man who pushes the limits of speed on track travels in between races? Well, today we'll explore the fascinating world of how F1 drivers travel, when they're not racing the fastest cars on the planet, of course.
So we travel a lot, so I love cars and I love planes.
Hosting Formula One races across the planet is no small feat. The logistics involved are incredible, and the calendar for the drivers is just as busy. From coordinating travel for teams and personnel to setting up the infrastructure at each venue, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make each race happen, and the drivers have to be there for every single race weekend. To put that into perspective, let's look at the 2024 Formula One season. This year, there are 24 races spread over 21 countries and 5 continents, including Asia, Europe, America, and Australia. The season kicks off in March, and it runs all the way through to December, putting immense pressure on the drivers and the teams. Before we jump into the cars and jets of Formula One, make sure to subscribe to not miss future F1 content. With those races spanning across various continents and spanning over those several months, the 2024 season should prove to be more entertaining than ever, but it also means that the drivers' travel plans and demands are getting more and more important. As these demands have grown, many drivers have turned to private jets as their preferred mode of transportation, and it does make sense. For a famous driver with a busy schedule, these luxurious aircraft offer unparalleled convenience, security, and flexibility for the busy schedule of F1. But, of course, they're not cheap. They cost tens of millions of dollars each. Of the current drivers on the grid today, only a select few can actually afford their own private jets. Amongst them is Max Verstappen. He leads the way with his Dassault Falcon 900EX. With its matte black and orange livery featuring Verstappen's logo, this aircraft was once owned by Sir Richard Branson and is valued at over $15 million today. This is something Verstappen can afford, considering he's making $55 million in salary from Red Bull and is one of the drivers in highest demand as of today. The jet was purchased in late 2020 and it boasts a range of up to 8,300 kilometers, making it perfect for the demands of the F1 calendar. In a sport where every inch counts, it's not just about getting from A to B. It's about arriving refreshed and race ready. And the blend of comfort, speed, and efficiency that Verstappen gets is crucial, considering he does have to race 24 times in the 2024 season. Verstappen's choice of the Falcon 900EX can even be seen as a strategic choice, considering he gets to compete at his peak regardless of the time zones or the locations involved. An F1 driver who has to fly in economy, for example, would likely be at a huge disadvantage compared to someone who's sleeping in their own bedroom on their own jet. Joining Verstappen in the skies, though not directly using his own jet, is Lance Stroll, who frequently travels around in his family's Bombardier BD700 Global 6000 jet, valued at over $32 million today. This jet epitomizes luxury and is a stark representation of the Stroll family's wealth and influence within the sport. Lawrence Stroll, Lance's father, is known for his frequent use of private jets. He took more trips than anyone else in the sport over the last few years and has even been called out on his environmental impact, considering Aston Martin is trying their best to be more environmentally sustainable within the sport. Finally, Fernando Alonso is the only other driver with his own personal jet, making his way around the globe in his own Dassault Falcon 900C. While this jet is very similar to Verstappen's in terms of the performance and stats, Alonso's jet lacks the personalized livery, as he seems to prefer a more understated presence, more in line with what you'd expect from Fernando Alonso. But just because a driver doesn't own their own jet doesn't mean they don't use them. Other drivers can be seen frequenting chartered jets, such as Ferrari drivers Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, due to their partnership with VistaJet, or drivers like Lando Norris, who were covered by the sponsorships. 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton famously owned one of the most attention-grabbing jets with his Challenger 605 aircraft. He used this to travel to the vast majority of his Formula One races. However, the driver has since sold the aircraft due to the mounting pressure over environmental sustainability and carbon footprint. The aircraft was purchased for nearly $30 million, almost double the value of most Challenger 600 series aircraft today. The twin-engine aircraft was painted bright red and was extremely visible to anyone nearby. Hamilton also included his initials as a personal touch on the aircraft's registration, KLCDH, as his full name is Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton. Today, Lewis can be seen frequenting Toto Wolff's private jet, or taking other means of travel. The use of private jets, whether owned or chartered, highlights the critical role of efficient, reliable, and fast transportation within the world of Formula One. These jets not only ensure that drivers arrive at their destinations well rested and prepared, but also showcase the immense wealth within the sport. Other drivers may not be so wealthy, such as K-Mag, Logan Sargent, or Alex Albon. They can often be seen travelling in business or first class on commercial jets throughout the season, with many drivers on smaller salaries around $1 million per year. They don't have the luxuries, quite like the reigning champion Max Verstappen. The logistical challenge of Formula One is monumental. With an extensive race calendar, the mobilisation of the 10 main racing teams, along with the personnel from the FIA, is a feat of planning and coordination. A tight schedule often leaves only a few days between the races to transport hundreds of tons of equipment over long distances, making every single second count. Throughout the season, each team travels more than 150,000 kilometres, carrying between 30 to 50 tons of gear each. This includes not only the cars, but also the parts, the tools, the technology, everything needed to support the race weekend. Building on the essential role of private jets for individual F1 drivers, the sport's logistics complexity extends far beyond that, encompassing the entire operation of moving the team and their equipment across the globe. Within Europe, however, the logistics strategy shifts. The continent's comprehensive road network allows for transport primarily by truck. This mode of transport is not only practical, but it's also efficient, with more than 300 trucks mobilised to move the F1 circus from one venue to another. These convoys, stretching over 5 kilometres, are a testament to the scale of the overall Formula One operation. In response to the growing environmental concerns though, Formula One has begun adopting biofuel-powered trucks for these European legs. The initiative reflects the sport's commitment to reducing its carbon footprint, mirroring the actions taken by the individual drivers like Lewis Hamilton. And when in Europe, many drivers do tend to use their own personal cars. Lewis Hamilton has notably claimed that he doesn't drive any of the cars that he owns anymore. He only drives his electric Mercedes EQC. Previously, he's been known to drive his personalised Pagani, his vintage 1967 Ford Mustang Shelby GT500, or his LaFerrari. However, we've also seen him ripping around in a R34 GTR, so I don't know how much truth there is to that. Most drivers, however, can be seen driving their team or sponsors' cars, with Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll frequently using the DBX SUV, with Alonso claiming it's a dream car, but I don't know how much truth there is to that statement. Meanwhile, Perez and Verstappen can be seen utilising Honda Civic Type Rs or even Honda NSXs. The Ferrari drivers get to have a lot more fun though. Charles Leclerc frequenting a custom Ferrari 488 Pista worth more than $1 million, and Carlos Sainz with his tailor-made Ferrari 812 Competizione, which is his second car. Previously, he drove a very responsible Volkswagen Golf. The switch to heavier hybrid V6 engines was a significant change in the history of Formula One and highlights the impact of environmental concerns. As Formula One continues to captivate millions worldwide and grow dramatically, it's clear that the sport faces a pivotal challenge, maintaining the essence of its racing while embracing sustainability. This journey not only involves just the teams and its organisers, but also the fans, whose passion fuels the sport. In an era where environmental consciousness is growing, F1's ability to innovate and adapt will be crucial for its continued success. Personally, I wish F1 went back to smaller cars and more raw racing, reminiscent of the golden days of F1. Let me know your thoughts down below, and if you've enjoyed, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more F1 content. On screen is my video on the greatest Formula One rivalry of all time. Give it a watch for a deep dive into some classic Formula One action with Ayrton Senna.